The story of the Garden of Eden. In the beginning, God created Adam and placed him in the Garden of Eden to dress it and take care of it. Genesis chapter 2, verse 15 says, "And the Lord God took the man and put him into the Garden of Eden to dress it and keep it." God told Adam that he could eat from any tree in the garden, but he must not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Genesis chapter 2 verse 17 says, "And the Lord God commanded the man, You may freely eat of every tree of the garden, but you shall not eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, for in the day that you eat of it, you shall surely die. But God said it was not good for man to be alone. So he made Eve as Adam's companion." Genesis chapter 2 verse 18 says, "And the Lord God said, It is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him a helper fit for him." Now, the serpent was the most cunning of all the wild animals that God had made. And he said to the woman, "Did God really say, You shall not eat from any tree in the garden?" The woman said to the serpent, "We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but God has indeed said, You shall not eat of the fruit of the tree which is in the middle of the garden, and that you shall not touch it, lest you die." But the serpent said to the woman, "You will not surely die. For God knows that in the day you eat of it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil." When the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was also pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of its fruit and ate. She also gave some to her husband, who was with her, and he ate. Immediately their eyes were opened, and they realized they were naked. So they tried to hide from God, but God confronted them and asked, "What is this that you have done?" Then the man said, "The woman whom you gave to be with me, she gave me fruit from the tree, and I ate." Now the serpent had deceived Eve, and Eve had deceived Adam. So God said to the serpent, "Because you have done this, cursed are you more than all the cattle and all the wild animals. On your belly you shall go, and dust shall be your clothing. And I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your offspring and her offspring. He shall bruise your head, and you shall bruise his heel." To the woman, God said, "I will make your pains in childbearing very severe. With painful labor you will give birth to children. Your desire will be for your husband, and he will rule over you." And to Adam, God said, "Because you listened to your wife and ate from the tree about which I commanded you, you shall not eat. Cursed is the ground because of you, thorns and thistles it shall bring forth. And you shall eat the plants of the field. In sweat of your brow you shall eat your food until you return to the ground, for out of it you were taken. For dust you are, and to dust you shall return." Sin and death entered the world through this act of disobedience. And although Adam and Eve were expelled from Eden, they still had access to the tree of life. But after they sinned, they were expelled from Eden and barred from the tree of life. Genesis chapter 3, verse 24 says, "So he drove the man out. And at the east of the garden he placed the cherubim and a flaming sword which turned every way to keep the way of the tree of life." Let's learn from our mistakes and not repeat them. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to our videos. See you in the next video.